You are listening to Fantha tracks.
He's waiting.
Classic Star Wars and the collectibles they gave us. From vintage Star Wars to the modern era of the saga. This is Collecting Tracks. Here is your host, Mark Newbold.
Saga Vault.
Saga Vault.
Everyone's talking about it, or anybody with a shred of sense is talking about it. It's two episodes in as we speak. It's great fun so far, but how did this whole endeavor get started?
So I've known Gus Lopez for a number of years, probably well over 10 years. And although I didn't collect Star Wars toys, I have dabbled, I guess is a bad word to say because I really don't dabble. I'm full on in it, movie props. And I've, over the years, I've found some Star Wars pieces, bought some, sold them. And I've always kept up with Gus. We always see each other at Comic-Con and catch up. And that's where I met Duncan with Gus when they were working on their book. Was telling him at one point we were on a phone call just catching up about 3.5 years ago. And I was telling him about one project that I was working on connected to a traveling exhibit that I'm building for robots and AI. Connected to movies. And he was like, well, I'm working with Steve Sansweet and a couple other collectors on creating a new museum. This is all super hush hush, but maybe we can work together on it. So we start talking about it. And, I had my roots in television, doing documentary and reality style stuff. And I was transitioning to doing my own work after, doing prop culture for Disney Plus and creating my own content. So I decided, well, let's see what you guys have to offer. So we went up to one of their meetings where they would get together and start talking about what they're planning on doing in the museum. Very secretive. We would, kept it off very quiet on it. And we were like, well, maybe there's a documentary project. And then one thing led to another. And we helped them produce their release video that they did to tell the world about the Saga Museum. That was our work. And then we're like, well, what else can we do together? And it's like, well, Jason, my creative partner, and I, we've got this idea to do a show with you guys. What do you think about this? It's all around Star Wars collecting, and it's kind of a pseudo competition, but ultimately it would help you develop an exhibit for the museum that you could have an ongoing permanent exhibit that would be the pieces that win the Saga Vault. So we developed that and start working with the guys. They were very involved in developing the show. They had very specific ideas on what it should be. And clearly, even though I'm a collector, I don't understand the Star Wars world nearly as well as they do. So, Anne and Gus were very involved. So were Vic and Lisa and Duncan and his wife, Anne, and Steve, clearly. So that whole group kind of gave what they wanted or what they thought should be. But ultimately, what we did was this competition is a competition. So what everybody does is they submit ideas to us. We'll give a theme. So we came up with the themes. We've done Mandalorians, we've done Darth Vader. Our next episode is going to be crew gifts. And then we'll be doing one called Fan Made. We'll be doing one called extras, droids, 1977, a lot of different types of categories. And then they submit ideas to us. And they say, this is my first choice, this is my second choice, this is my third choice. And ultimately, we usually pick their first choice unless two people have the same thing. We don't want necessarily two people bringing the same piece because it's not as interesting as a show. And then it's a harder competition. It's a harder audience vote. So then they present it. They tell the story behind it. Everybody kind of cross-examines it. We all come together and vote. I come in and vote as the outsider, kind of the tiebreaker for the shoot. And then ultimately we go out to the audience, and the audience is really who makes the decision of which piece goes in the vault.
Hello there, you beautiful people. This is Steve Evans, Senior Design Director for Star Wars at Hasbro. And you are listening to, you guessed it, Fantha Tracks.
The vote aspect is the real intriguing element because obviously you presumably recorded these all a little while ago. To the audience, a completely fresh thing, obviously. And then to add that live element is really cool. So how did you sort of concoct that? Was that always baked in?
Yeah, so we felt that the audience vote was going to be important because we want engagement. From a practical purpose, we want people interested in. We also want people to see that they have a stake in it, because they do. People vote for it. Ultimately, it's going to be the audience vote, and that ultimately is what information is going to help the museum build exhibits that people are going to want to see. So there's a very kind of organic reason for that, and it also allows us to release an episode and then do it live, almost a week later, to reinforce the episode and figure out who's the winner and talk to the winner, and they get the trophy, and it's a lot of fun.
I've known the guys for a while. They're all good-humoured people, but that really comes over well in the show. Was that an organic thing? Was that something you really thought, we're going to add this nice twist of humour to it? Because it plays out really nicely.
Yeah. Well, first of all, everybody's pretty friendly with each other. They all like each other. And my job on the set really was to be the host, to be the audience perspective, and also to get everybody warmed up and friendly. So that's why I start off every episode with goofing around. I introduce everybody as some wacky thing to get them warmed up. And ultimately, then everybody just has fun with it. And that's what it is. I want to make sure that we're all having fun, because if we're having fun, the audience is going to have fun.
I got to say, Duncan's Howard Hughes lookalike competition line was a peach.
He comes up with some really great responses in this season. He's a very funny guy. You wouldn't realize it, but he's got such smart, dry humor. I love him.
Of the stuff that we've seen so far, so we're 2 episodes in, Mandalorians and Vader, has anything come out or was anything picked when you saw it the first time and thought, wow, it's a privilege to see for real?
Yes, there have been a number of pieces that have been very impressive, because here's the thing. Although I've seen a lot of these collections already, I've seen them in their collecting spaces, right? Which are impressive, but this show we shoot in Chicago, so they have to bring this stuff here. So the fact that they're bringing stuff on the road, in some cases very delicate stuff, is impressive in its own right, that the trust that they have in what we're trying to do. But some of the pieces, like there's a piece that we have for one of our episodes that is, you see it in the it's a prototype for a toy of Jar Jar Binks that is one of the most obscure, weirdest things I've ever seen, that I just was blown away by, that they actually wanted to make this thing. Like, that's, for me, it's the unmade stuff that's really interesting, or the prototype stuff that's really interesting. I collect Star Wars, but I don't reach into the depths of collecting for Star Wars like the rest of the team. When you see the show, everything that's in the background, that's from my collection.
I was going to ask about that. That set.
That set is my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. The layout, the look of the room just looks fantastic. When you're there and you're listening to these guys delving in, because you've got, Sansweet pretty much started the whole fan collecting thing back with,
that's right,
screen collectible. So that whole run there is evident, and Gus been involved with Celebration since the first one, and Duncan, all the stuff he's done, Vic and Lisa, everything they've done. When you're listening to them talk, are we seeing it as it's happening? How does it work? How does a shoot work for each episode?
Yeah, so there is editing, but the editing is more from if there's a camera issue, if there was a mic not working. Everything, it's much our show that we shoot, Cinema Relics Investigates, which is this show about diving into the props, a movie props history, and is it real or not? And we do the CSI kind of endeavor into it, or at least that's the attempt. Those are like 3 hours long, and we edit those down to 20 minutes, because there's a lot of stuff that happens that isn't necessarily important to the narrative of the show. When we shoot these. There's not much waste. It's pretty much what it is. It is what it is. And, if somebody has to stop to go to the bathroom, we're not going to leave it in the show, right? But other than that, it's pretty tight.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video, and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
And as they're talking, as they're chewing things over and explaining things, as you say, you're an expert movie prop collector, but your focus isn't specifically Star Wars. So certain things, I assume, come out that you're like, wow, I didn't know about that Jim Swearingen sketch or that Macquarie sketch or whatever it might be.
Honestly, most of those things, I've seen them, but I try not to look at the creative too much beforehand because I want to be surprised. My producers, Jason and Caleb, they really understand what's being presented. I will know the top line pieces, but I don't want to hear the stories because I want to hear it first from these guys if I hadn't already heard it in their respective museums. But it's a fresh place to talk about it, and they have a different presentation because they're presenting it as a piece to be voted upon, right? So they have a different version of the story that they tell.
They're pitching to the audience to try and make them believe
that's right. Well, and it's condensed. It's specifically, they know what they want to say and they put it out because there's some collecting kudos there. They want to win these things. It gets very competitive.
I've seen them at auctions. I know how competitive it can get. With the whole Saga Museum endeavour and now Saga Vault being part of Salt the Guava, as it was known for a little while, with it being part of that, for you, it must be fantastic because to the Star Wars community, with what Rancho Bubba Cabana, Imperial Archive, Tissonian are doing in their independent ways is phenomenal. But the fact that they're coming together is something really special for us to look forward to with the 50th around the corner and everything else. But now this show is very much a part of it. Is your hope for this to be a continuing thing? You've got 11 episodes, with 2 episodes in. But is your hope that this will be something that maybe can carry on? Or have you got other ideas with the guys?
No. We definitely want to carry this on. We have other ideas for other shows, absolutely, that we want to work with, both with the Saga group and other genres and other ideas. But our hope is to try and do as many of these as they're willing to do and the audience is willing to watch.
I don't see why people wouldn't want to watch it. I mean, it's been such an interesting start so far, right? And there's just so many topics within Star Wars that you can hit on if you want to. Cast and crew. I mean, Gus and Duncan are the cast and crew.
Yeah.
They wrote the book on that, so that's going to be absolutely fascinating. Just to let people who might not know much about yourself, tell us a little bit about your story. Where did this all start for you and your journey in collecting yourself?
As most collectors, I started collecting toys when I was a kid. Star Wars came out, I was 7, I think. And my mom bought me, I'd been asking for Star Wars action figures, and she came home one day and she said, I got you the 2 robots you wanted. And she gives me an R2-D2 and a Stormtrooper. And I'm like, oh, that's not C-3PO. Of course, she didn't know any better. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. I just started collecting all different types of Star Wars toys. I was obsessed with them. And then, years later, I've been involved in photography professionally. And I loved behind the scenes. I would always watch like the behind the scenes documentaries, all the different versions from the different Star Wars films, Indiana Jones films. I was obsessed with all of that. And I was on the early days, it was before it was called eBay, but I was online trading, and I realized you could pick up some of these pieces because I didn't live in LA where you could actually go and find people that had this stuff. I had to kind of come across it through the early internet. And once I realized that, I just kind of lost my mind. It was all I thought about was I can connect myself and learn about the industry through these pieces. And then it gives me a reason to talk to these people that worked on the film because, you're doing a deal with them and you can kind of learn about it from them directly from the source. So it was a lot of fun. And ultimately I wound up coming up with an idea for a show that got made. It was called Race to the Scene with Dolph Lundgren. And it was about finding movie locations. And from there, we produced a bunch of different stuff. And I did prop culture for Disney Plus, which was about movie props connected to Disney films. And now I'm doing my own Cimarillix Investigations, which is initially it was taking my own pieces and kind of putting them through the grinder to make sure that the pieces are real. And if they're not, call out. Or if there's questions, call those out. And now I'm working with Gus. Gus has had a couple of episodes that have done really well of his pieces. We're hoping to do some more with him and a few other collectors as well. So it's going to be fun. But, my goal is to create content that I would like to watch. So that's what the Saga Vault is a show that is not being made that I want to watch with my friends that I really like hanging out with. And hopefully we can help the museum by creating the show. It would be beneficial for them to get people to look at the museum as a real thing and really get this thing made and get it funded.
Hi, this is Steve Grad from Pawn Stars. I approve and I authenticate Fantha Tracks.
We're Fantha Tracks, so we're a news site, but we're involved in lots of other endeavours. And I think there's something really special about what you're doing in the sense of curating information that people down the line, Star Wars fans coming up, might not know a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Is that a thing that you're very conscious of, that you want to get this thing on tape? You want to make sure that we speak to these people?
Yes.
It's a historical thing, really, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And not just for the movie props. It's for the people that worked at Kenner, for any of this stuff. You know, we want, the more information you have, the better. You know, it sharing the correct information is important because there's a lot of misinformation out there about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Both innocently and then also maliciously for people that are creating fakes. Because as we know, there's fakes in the world of toys, just like there is in the movie props and movie posters and fine art and all this stuff. I mean, people are out there trying to make money if they can. And us collectors, we want to believe, you know, we want to know that this stuff is real. And sometimes we overlook the little things that turn out to be big issues.
That's very true. That's very true. One final thing, without giving anything away, in the upcoming episodes, can you hint at something we might want to look out for that will be a moment you think might just get people talking or might just go a little bit viral?
Well, there is a piece that Duncan brings that's connected to Jar Jar that blows me away. And actually in that same episode, there's a really interesting Star Wars Special Edition prototype. So it's a prototypes episode. Check it out. I'm not sure where it is on the schedule, the prototypes episode, but our next episode is going to be Kruger. So that's the one that we're releasing this Friday. And it's a good one. You'll like it.
They're all good.
So far, they're all good, but no, I think you will like them. I do appreciate the positive spin, but we're really happy with the show. You should be. It's honestly, it's great fun, and we're proud to share anything to do with Rancho and all the other guys, obviously. But this has been a treat because it's a focus. It's a weekly focus. It's something that people can follow, get involved with. Yes, the community needs more of that. So hats off to you. Yes. I appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll meet at some point. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
So thanks for listening to Collecting Tracks. If you want to be part of the action, stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news, visit fanthatracks.com or check out the free Fantha Tracks app through the App Store to follow us on your mobile device. You can reach out to us and send in your listeners' questions by emailing radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks. And be sure to subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice. And as always, thanks to James Semple for composing the Fantha Tracks intro, Andy Lythe for our Collecting Tracks open music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. Remember to tune in to Good Morning Tatooine, live Sunday evenings at 9 PM UK time, 4 PM Eastern and 1 PM Pacific on Facebook and YouTube. Check out Fantha Tracks Radio Friday evenings at 7 PM UK time for new episodes of the Fantha from Down Under, Planet Leia, Desert Planet Discs, Start Your Engines, Collecting Tracks and Cannon Fodder. And every Tuesday at 7 PM UK time for your weekly episode of Making Tracks.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.